It's with me, the Dyslexic Gamer, as my lovely little victims are here again today as we play some Warhammer Fantasy tabletop RPG. So last time the group had learnt about their next mission that the Raven Guard wished them to go on, protecting a caravan with the Raven Guard's funds being transported to Nullen, I believe. The group had then spent some time going around the shops and buying the things that they need. We are currently on, date-wise, we have moved to a new month. Oh, bollocks, I forgot about this one. Calexedit. Calexit. It's Warhammer Fantasy, man. It's got some weird-ass month names. But it is the first of... I'll post it in chat so you don't have to laugh at my pronunciation.
I still want to hear you say the word Kazalid.
Kazalid.
Ah, you did that.
We find ourselves currently... Sorry about that.
Yeah, we noticed.
Oh, sorry, I've just run up and downstairs a couple of times. I need a minute to catch my breath. I am really unfit. That's what that shows. Cool. That's all back up. So, where did I get cut off from? What was the last thing you guys heard? And hello, Juka.
I mean, I think we got cut off like just after a month, and I'm just trying to discuss. So we're now on to preparing for the trip.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as you are all in the Wolf's Head Inn, it's about lunchtime. Would you like to make me awareness check, perception checks, please? This will be doing more to hearing. You can have a +10 to it.
Everyone perception with
Yeah.
+10. Now, this is going to be fun.
Perception or gossip?
Perception.
Okay.
Yeah, I succeeded. Barely, but I succeeded.
Wow, I'm using up all your good luck at the minute.
Yep.
Oh no, I still rolled quite badly. It's just my target is pretty high.
I've seen
Oh, no.
3 single digits there, which is like, ooh.
Yeah, their good luck is all just going away now. But
So,
I shouldn't have any more good luck. I'm stealing it from everybody else.
as you are all going about your
God.
business within
Right.
the Wolf's Head Inn, you hear a commotion outside. You hear a couple of people shouting for a healer, for a medic. You hear a couple of people shouting like, "Out the way! Move back! Step aside!" Yeah. Do you decide to investigate, or could you?
I rush outside.
I'm gonna discreetly move over and investigate, trying to be a normal person.
You could look
Yeah.
out the windows from wherever you are. You don't have to rush out onto the street. It sounds like it's coming closer to you.
Yeah, it's worth looking out the window.
Okay, so for some of you, you look out the window. For others, you rush outside to get a good gander.
Not just to get a good gander. I'm trained in healing to some degree, and I'm like, oh shit! If there's somebody hurt outside.
I'll walk out. I won't rush out, but be looking at the surroundings instead of rushing to the body. Or whoever it is, or...
Sorry, I had to get a note. Okay, so as you look outside and as you step outside and look down the street to where the noise is coming from, you would see a warband approach you. You can see that I believe Eric is taking up the front of his warband. He has a few injured men. You can see in the middle of the group. There are a couple of labourers behind him. His numbers total, including him, he has 7 men who are all in the warband's colours. The colours are silvers and greys with gold trim. He also has at least 2 labourers who are walking behind him. 2 labourers in the middle who are clearly injured, and there's 2 more behind him who are kind of taking up the back of their group. You can see that one of the men, who is actually missing a leg, he's already missing a leg, and he has a peg leg as it is. He has a very nasty gash across his other leg. Let me just double check to see which one was missing. He is missing his right leg underneath the knee, and his left leg now has a very large slash across it. And 2 of the 2 men are on either side of him, and they're actually carrying him into Siegfriedhoft. The 2 labourers either side have arrows sticking out of their arms, one of them like in his side, but he's clearly a walking wounded. He's in pain but pushing on.
Oh dear. I step back inside and just, Gabrielle, we might have issues. Could you come help too?
I see them.
Okay. I walk over to the cart where I believe we have our medical supplies stored.
I go grab my healing poultices, which I have on me,
Okay.
technically speaking. I only have 3 of them, so I'll be buying more in a second. A lot more.
Well, I guess you won't need me to cauterize anything, so I'll just watch.
As Eric sees, I believe he's spoken to Azurath a few times. He sees you like shouting for what he thinks is a healer, but as he sees Gabrielle come out, you would hear Eric. Oh no, there's no need, friend. I'll pay for my men to be healed by a trained doctor. They should only have the best. I do not mean to slight you, but I would rather pay for my services than take up your goods. The Warband of the Wolf is not a charity, after all. He says that with some pride.
You might not be a charity, but walking around wounded, that can't be good for you. I know that from experience. Let me at least see what I can do superficially without using the supplies, then.
His experience is hitting me, by the way.
Every single time you had it coming, Billy Bob.
Eric kind of gives a little. He appears to hear what Billy Bob is shouting from, I'm guessing, a window somewhere. Sounds like what Billy Bob would do. But he pays more attention to you, Azurath, and oh well, that's very kind of you. By all means, you may have a look, but as I said, I've heard. I believe Peter was the medic. We sent a peasant off to go get him, so he should be here soon.
All right, then. I'll go inspect the wounds of. I'd say the person that seems with the most. I'm gonna look for the member of the group that has the wounds that seems like they can be cured most easily without requiring many supplies.
Okay. As you look at a lot of the wounds, the labourers and the peasants in the party that are wounded, they appear to have been hit by arrows. You know, they haven't taken the shafts of the arrows. They haven't taken the arrows out themselves. They've just broken the shafts. You would know from experience that a doctor would like cut that open and pull it out and then disinfect it, stitch
push it
up.
through.
Not when it's like close to bone.
Also depends on if the arrow has hooks to it.
If you're using just your typical broadheads, you can just pull back out. But if you're using barbs, you have to push through.
Mm-hmm.
So
I would like to check both those arrows if they are barbed hook arrows or if they are just broad arrows.
You could roll. You could roll either perception or medicine. I think it would be.
I'll check which one's higher. Perception started 6 and
Because it's basically a lot of trial and error to find out if they're. Can I pull it? Does it come out? They scream? Maybe not.
Oh, if I need to like start doing shit like that, no, I'm gonna inspect the wound and see if that tells me anything. Because actually this is a thing that I know, but would Azurath know? Huh.
You are an elf, so I would give you as a racial benefit arrows.
Okay, yeah, okay. In that case, I'm gonna look how
That's a good point.
large the wound is, because then I would know that a broad-tipped arrow would leave like a relatively large hole, whereas a barbed hook one would give a relatively small hole
Sure.
compared to that. So I'm gonna look if the wound is small or large, and use a perception.
Yeah, give me a. You can have a plus 10 for it. So as you lift up the clothing and try and carefully just examine the wound, you see it's a very small opening. It doesn't appear to be a large hole, and it is also bleeding quite a lot. Like, it appears as if the arrow is moving around and causing the victim to bleed.
Oh dear, that is not good. And the other one?
I'll give you both of those. You look at all the arrow wounds and you can see that they appear to all be the same type of wound, the same type of arrow. The fletching on the back is not a uniformed colour. It very much looks as if these arrows have been made by someone from game rather than from a fletcher who would try and make sure his arrows are all, his feathers have been dyed, so he's not accused of poaching.
Okay.
The
I'm
only
gonna...
other dude is the one who's being carried, and they do appear to be making like good progress towards where a peasant is kind of pointing where Peter's would be. In fact...
Okay, I'll go walk alongside Aragon and say, okay, those arrow wounds are gonna certainly require a bit more specialist care than I can provide at the moment. All the arrows appear to be barbed hook ones. They can't just be pulled out.
Yes, nasty business these from, well, what the men tell me, they're awfully painful. Fortunately, he bangs against his armour. Didn't penetrate this. Bloody brigands.
Yes.
Now I do.
I can imagine that it's quite painful. From someone that used to... Yeah.
We lost 4 of them back there. He has a sorrowful look on his face. Yes, 9 more fell. I'm beginning to think that I may need to rethink my tactics. Our attrition rate is...
Perhaps. Do you have any specialist units in your group? All I see are melee fighters.
Yes, we have some ranged. We have, well, he gestures at his men as the two. You can, as he gestures at the 2 men who are carrying off the wounded one. You see Peter in the distance, and he has his medical bag, and he's sort of hurriedly gesturing to the wounded to come to his area.
Okay.
The 2 there who are carrying the man, the twins, they're ranged specialists, and then unfortunately the one who was wounded, he used to be front line. Unfortunately, after he lost a leg, can't really keep him on there at the front line, so he's mid ranks now.
Okay. If you don't mind, I see Peter coming. I'm going to save him a bit of time with your men by telling him what kind of arrows he should be expecting.
But of course, I'm sure we'll see you in the tavern later.
Yes, certainly. And I rush up to Peter. I'm not going to stop him. I'm going to try to like walk alongside him and just tell him the arrow wounds are all from barbed tipped arrows. You can't pull them out. I thought it'd save you the time of inspecting them.
Thank you, Azurath?
Yes.
He looks at you kind of like as
Yes,
if he is
just-
trying to remember.
Don't mind it. Just go care for the wounded.
Oh, he's doing this
Maybe
as
it's
he's
the-
walking, and he's kind of expecting you to walk along with him for this conversation.
Yeah, I am walking along. I am walking
That's-
along, but it just yeah.
That's very, very helpful. Thank you. It will save me some time and hopefully some lives.
Yes. I'll see if I can go fetch Lyciara. She might be if you require a cauterization of any wounds.
No, thank you. I should be able to handle it from here.
All right. Best of luck.
He gives you a courteous nod as he hurriedly, as he was walking at quite a pace with you, but as the conversation ends, his pace seems to double as his single mind seems to track onto the wounded.
I walk back into the tavern. Well, that is I guess he was right about the attrition rate.
I like to think that I'm just on there, having a smoke
Sure.
on their porch.
By the way, would I have heard that he had smoked the? Would I have heard that he had done that? Because I wasn't awake for it, but would I have heard it that he had done it afterwards?
I don't think you would have. So the last thing the group would have seen was Billy Bob hack up outside, coughing for ages, spluttering and really deep coughing, and then storm upstairs.
Okay, I would have been told that, right? I know that.
It seems no one would
Okay.
have told you.
I could have overheard that. Let's put it that way.
Oh, I
Weren't you passed out
apologise.
drunk?
Yes, he was passed out drunk. I apologise. It's the second today because the first was when you went to actually have the conversation.
Yeah, I was awake for it, but I just kind of put it out of my mind. It wasn't anything important to me.
Okay. Yeah,
If I'd known about the prank, I'd have told you, but I didn't.
And
Yeah,
Billy Bob
if-
found out what had happened, and I don't think he's told anyone yet.
No, wait. I woke up with my hand in a full of beer,
Yes.
and I would
Yeah.
have asked who did that. Probably overheard. Probably had heard it was
So-
Billy Bob.
The issue with that
And then ask
is
if anything happens
that
to
when
people.
you
Technically-
were drinking, it was very late at night. There were only a few people still competent
Barkeep.
enough, and you kind of pulled the pint closer to you, and you even said that you
Okay.
fell asleep on your. So it wouldn't have looked directly like he was trying to do anything.
Okay.
And fortunately,
Okay, yeah, that
because of
makes
your
sense.
roles, like if you had pissed yourself, which is what he was trying to do,
Okay, yeah, I didn't piss
then
myself
you,
this whole thing.
yeah, then you would have been like, hang on a minute, what the? But where that never happened, I think you knocked the tankard over at one point or something like that, but you didn't piss yourself, so there was no.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I would have just Okay.
And also, if I remember correctly, not even the barman and the barmaid were there anymore at that hour.
No, they
Okay.
were because they had to clear up after
Okay.
everyone had
Would
kind
any
of.
of them? Would any of them have been talking about the fact that Billy Bob had been coughing loudly outside or not?
No.
Okay, if they did, I'm just trying to connect out of character knowledge and in character knowledge, so I don't make any mistakes. So just checking what Azurov knows. So he doesn't know that. Okay.
No, and the
Good.
bar staff wouldn't have brought it up. It's not something, because again, that cough could have also been accomplished to, someone smoking something, a cigarette badly, or drinking and laughing at the same time. It's not. Unfortunately, it wasn't notable enough.
Okay, yeah, I go over to Billy Bob is upstairs smoking, right or not? At the window, or...
On the porch. It turned out he was on the porch, so you would.
Okay, he's currently on the porch.
Yeah.
Okay, so they just walk up to him and yeah, then that's what I say to him. Well, Branda was true about the attrition rate. They lost 4 men, and most of them are severely wounded.
You'll notice like Gabrielle's near the door, she's just kind of leant against the wall and just quietly repeating to herself, 4?
Yeah, they lost 4. Not to mention the arrows that are all stuck in all of those men. Barbed tips. Those are painful. Not to say that they can't just be pulled out. They either need to be pushed through, or... well, the wound needs to be cut open entirely for them to be pulled out. Not to mention they're probably quite fatigued because, well, the arrowhead keeps the wound open. They might have been bleeding a lot. In any case, it seems as if Peter has got this under control. We should not stand in his way. I guess it is the risk with a greater warband. The more men you bring, the more chance that one of them gets hit by a stray arrow, or in this case, I don't think they are stray arrows.
Is the Bloody Ring back? Or are these guys from the Bloody Ring or the other group? I forgot
This
the
is
name.
this is a warband of the wolves.
Ah, gotcha.
These are the fancy-looking people.
Yeah.
Honestly, with all this show that he's still making of himself, I must say I slightly get the feeling that he is perhaps a bit too prideful in his tactics. But we'll see if his attrition thing keeps up. He said he's going to try and attempt to fix that.
You can all hear quite loudly outside him proclaiming, for every man who went down, his widow and his children will get 10 silvers each and a gold for his service. For all the men wounded, you hear him like almost chucking money about a little bit, and if you do look outside, you would notice that there is a crowd of peasants around him, a lot of angry faces in the crowd. But then any of you who have ever been anywhere near a warband before would kind of understand that.
Well, at least he's paying them back, sort of. Anyways, let's go back inside. Say, Billy Bob, since it was Keg's End yesterday, did you enjoy yourself, or did you partake in the festivities? 2 days ago was Keg's End. Mine. I didn't ask that yesterday. But...
Billy Bob?
Hello?
I asked you a question. Did you enjoy the festivities of Keg's End?
I'll just sort of, well, every day's a Keg's End if you want it to be. Don't see what's so special.
I don't drown that much alcohol in a single day, usually. My
Pussy.
body would not be able to keep up. I need to stay functioning to make sure my shield's in front of you when the arrows fly our way.
Thanks. I guess I don't then.
But did you partake in the festivities, or did you have your own festivity?
Well, I was looking around for something to spend money on.
Remember, I did give you that weed stuff you seem to want. You could always try smoking that.
I'm saving it. Gives you a squinted look.
Okay. Just make sure to enjoy it. And I walk back inside.
As soon as the door closes, you'll hear, "You fucking piece of shit!" And I bunch out the curse until eventually someone shouts back at me, and I'm like, "Oh, sorry."
Meanwhile, like a couple of meters, in fact, maybe a meter from you, just got Gabrielle still quietly repeating 4 to herself. Like, it's in a only 4 with everybody in that bad condition? And it's not a good thing. It's like how she's saying it.
Gabrielle, as a reminder, I actually may have forgotten the exact numbers, but I believe you were told by Branda that the last time they went out, they lost 3. So now...
Yeah, that's like, she's amazed they've only lost 4, but at the same time, they've lost 4. How have they done so badly?
7 altogether.
Yeah, but I mean, just in one trip, they've lost 4 people. There's attrition rates, and then there's this.
This is Kill House, basically.
And then when she finally snaps out of it, she goes and buys 5 more healing poultices.
Okay, cool. Any of you who want to do any buying over this time, you can.
I already did all my purchasing last time, so
So we will...
I'll be finding a quiet place to just sort of train with my new hand axe. So
Cool. So let me just check. As you all go down for your evening meal, you would notice that the warband of the wolf is indeed in the tavern, including the wounded man. He's been propped up on a chair and has bandages on his leg. And you hear Eric talking about how he'll have to stay in town for a few days, that they have another mission. Siegfried Hoff needs them again, as he kind of tries to rouse up his warband. You would notice that his second in command is missing 2 fingers on his left hand. The second in command is missing his... Oh, the second in the command is the peg-legged man, who's now got another wound on his other leg. The third man is missing his nose and is missing his left ear. The fourth man is missing his right eye and has scars on his cheeks of his face. And the 2 twins that he pointed out before, now that you can see them, they have burns all over their face and the top of their head, and they're missing most of their hair. They only have patchy hair growth.
I will walk over and say, yes, we're actually assigned to a similar mission. We'll be taking some of the heat off, I hope, in that way. If you don't mind me asking, what happens?
Well, good to hear that we've all been given this prestigious job for Siegfried Hoft. I'm sure it will gain us much renown. But yes, we were ambushed. Didn't see them coming, I'm afraid. I set up our column as usual. The main warband.
And it managed to do so much damage to you.
Brigands, bandits. Unfortunately, we were we were
Did they
ambushed.
I point over at Twins and I say, these two men are clearly burnt.
Oh no, just so that you're, because I probably didn't make it clear. They are all old wounds on these people.
Oh, okay. Oh, those are all old
these
wounds.
These are
Okay.
just their descriptions, how they
Okay.
look.
Okay.
But yeah, they are all very old. But as you mentioned the wounds, he said, well, you know, we've been together for some time now. Although it may not look it, I'm far more used to delving ruins. To be honest with you, close quarters is more our specialty. All this open terrain and long distance, it's
Right.
taken us aback on our strategies, I'm afraid.
All right. Probably this is something you've already put into place, I might hope, but civilians in the middle, shields
Yes.
on the outside.
Yes, that's well. The first time we went out, I had the labourers and civilians. You know, the ones we were training them up. We had them scout out the land. They knew the terrain. That's how they got ambushed. And then we came up. Unfortunately, it was too late for them all, and we fought them back. But in the end, I thought it was best to retreat rather than take more casualties. Fortunately, this time, as you said, we had the civilians in the back. I ordered them to use their slings and projectile weapons to their best advantage, but unfortunately, I did not watch the terrain. They took the high ground on us and fired down upon the weaker armoured. And he kind of gestures outside to the labourers who, you would note he doesn't actually have the labourers in here, whether that's because they're with family and friends or because, you know, they weren't invited.
I'll just make a slight note of that, but I won't mention it. Yes. But were you ambushed by a large group, or was this just or well trained?
The first group, I would say they weren't as trained as the second. The first group, we came up and encountered them, began our attack back, our counter-attack, as it were, and all of a sudden more firepower came at us, more arrows, a few rifles in fact, or, well, I heard shot being fired, couldn't tell you pistols or rifles, but I heard the powder, and so that was when we fell back. The second time was far more organised. They waited for us to get to a point where they had the squishier targets, but we didn't have any cargo, and we were out on patrol.
It seems that perhaps. You mentioned rifles; those aren't cheap.
Well,
this is,
powder weapons. I shouldn't say rifles exact. I heard the powder go. Not big enough for cannon, but it could have been rifles from a distance, or it could have been pistols from medium range or closer.
Perhaps, but I would keep my eyes out. It would appear that someone or something is attempting to weaken the defenses of Siegfriedhof. And I can only assume that their purpose is malign in that. And as for, well, you seem to be learning from past mistakes, and, well, I can't say I would have spotted it the first time it would have happened to me too. And I can't think you have as much experience in roaming the open fields as I do. You'll adapt eventually.
I'm sure it. I'm sure it will get easier, but it doesn't keep the peasants from bickering. So they seem to think I do it on purpose, which is just why.
Yeah. Although I must ask, if you were simply on patrol, why did you have so many peasants with you?
Well, we're a new warband to the area. I figured that, the more people I hire from the town, the more we could ingratiate ourselves. Although I noticed that other warband doesn't seem to do that. Neither, well, not. I've heard that you have a few hirelings, but
Yes, but they are permanent hirelings from another town over.
I see. Well, yes,
We
I-
tend to avoid bringing many untrained men with us because, well, the chance that they'll survive is significantly lower than ours. We
true.
do not wish to endanger any
but-
innocent in this matter.
Unfortunately, I was brought up slightly differently. If a man is willing and able, then he has the right to try. That is how I've always done my recruiting, at the very least. Although
Most certainly, but in that case, well,
although the peasantry is the peasantry, they have as much right to fight and die for their land as much as we nobles. So I give them the opportunity. We give them training along the way. Don't get me wrong. We don't just chuck a lamb to the slaughter, but
most certainly understood. But perhaps being quite less large of a target would help you. Although, I must say, the next one is bound to... the next mission involves quite a lot of worth.
yes. Well, we've been given quite the mission ahead of us.
In any case,
But of course, I will learn from my last. I will probably have the labourers stay with the wagon and have my men do most of the scouting. We also our wagon has another group with us. That's an apprentice mage of some sort. He is apparently getting
you are bringing
passage.
Boris with you.
I'm sorry, I hadn't actually kept to remember his name. I guess it may be. Large fellow. Quite well.
He's describing Boris, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Okay. So, well then.
Oh, and some children. Not too happy about the children, but well, they've been given permission to ride in the Raven Guard's wagon. So I figured, best to keep them together with the new recruits. I shouldn't keep calling them peasants. The new recruits, and I'll have my men do as much legwork as they can. Unfortunately, old Barry there, he's going to have to stay behind. But these things happen when you get wounded.
All right. Well, I hope that Boris is. I hope that having Boris with you will be a boon to your efforts. But keep in mind,
I've banned
he
him.
is slightly untrained.
I've banned him from his. He gestures at you, which is clearly finger wiggling. I don't trust it.
Yeah.
It's not natural. You see.
Oh well, you wouldn't want to hear Lysiada hear you with that.
I mean nothing. I'm sure they're all good people, but I just do not trust them. Bad things
They
tend to
can
happen.
be useful assets. I am
If
quite
collared
certain that
properly, I suppose. He kind of wiggles a little bit uncomfortably.
I wouldn't dare dream Lysiara collared. That would not end well for the person attempting to collar her.
Then again, were you speaking of one of my kind, or one of... I'm sorry, I haven't got to know your warband as well as you.
She's an elf.
Then I take back what I said. Your people seem to have an affinity with these things that I just feel my people should leave well enough alone. Leave it to the priests can speak to the gods
Trust
for
me.
us, and that's enough.
As far as I'm aware, most of my kind's affinity for it is often more from experience than natural talent. Given enough time and practice, I am sure many a man could reach the same heights that most of my kind do. Then again, your kind doesn't live as long.
Yes, apparently even shorter when when brigands are about.
Yes.
But
Well.
I'm sure he'll be fine. He's in the wagon. It should be. What harm can he do in a wagon? I mean, really. He's not expected to fight. I mean, he kind of chuckles to himself.
Not expected to, I appreciate that, but do keep in mind that if you find yourself overwhelmed and you need a trump card, he might be that trump card.
I will keep that in mind, Azura, but hopefully I won't need a trump card.
It is better to have one and not need it than to need one and not have it.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Anyways, I must
Yes,
go
by
back
all
to
means,
my-
I've kept you more than long enough. Have a good evening, Azura.
Yes. Have a good evening.
And with that, you two go back to your separate tables to finish off your evening meal and drink.
Okay. We're leaving soon, right? So let me check actually.
So you'll be leaving when the Bloody Rain comes back and when they're ready to
Okay.
leave.
Okay.
So if there's no objections anyway, as we time skip.
To what
Time
day are
skips.
we time skipping?
Cool. We time skip to the next morning, which is the 3rd of the date that is in chat.
Wait,
I'll
the
put-
3rd?
I'll put it back. Yeah.
So 2 days? Because it
One.
was the first of... It was
No,
first egg.
sorry.
That was
That's been
second.
retconned.
Today was the second.
Yeah, that was retconned.
Ah.
The first was the day that you met with Branda and were told about the job, and that would be the day that you all went shopping. We are now on the 3rd. You were all woken up at probably around 7 in the morning. Some of you might have already been about to wake up, but you hear this colossal bang as it seems as if someone's kicking down the doors or something, and you just
I
hear
rushed down
shouting downstairs.
I rushed the fuck downstairs with my axe and shield both out. Just
Immediately just grab my club, grab my shield, and just go.
You just hear this voice. Gottfried! Get your ale out! Remy! Get drinking! Boys! We are not missing kegs, and I will take these days back, one way or another. This is a disgrace. John! Don't you dare start laughing, or I'll kick the living shit out of you. You won't be handsome then.
I immediately put my axe away and put my shield back on my back, and I just walked downstairs, expecting to see the warband of the Bloody Rain.
You do.
As you're going down the stairs, you just hear a
fireball
thud.
from my hand.
Yeah, it's you like going down the stairs. All you hear is a thud, and I'm up. As Gabrielle finally kind of responds to the door being kicked in, or what sounds like the door being kicked in.
Oh, it was kicked in. So Damatus, the bloody, imagine Guts from Berserk. You know, this almost 7-foot giant of a man. Except from he's in full plate with a massive two-handed sword. Again, I basically made him Guts, with more of an attitude. Has literally kicked in the door. As you look at the door, you can see that there is splintered wood and the door is being buckled. And there is just a bag of gold on top of the counter. And Gottfried's just there, the barkeep, like, one second, I'll just go get all the drink.
I'll go check with Hagrid if he has some ale left.
After a very messy couple of minutes, for those of you who came downstairs quickly, you can just see Gottfried, Beatrix and her little daughter, as well as the 2 bar wenches, just running round. They are just grabbing drinks, grabbing food, putting it in front of them.
Yeah, meanwhile, I'm going to Hagrid to see if he actually already replenished part of his stock, because apparently somebody missed kegs ended his try to make amends.
You would see Haglin outside. He's stoking the forge, cleaning off his equipment, and he sees you coming over.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, morning, Azareth. How you doing?
I am doing good. Just got woken up by a bloody door being kicked in, but...
All right. I gotcha. He gives you. He like turns around and like wiggles his finger in the air as if he knows exactly what's going on. And after a couple of minutes of you just like, did he just read my mind? Or he comes out with a keg under one arm and a repair kit under another. That'd be the door at the Wolf's Head. I'll go and measure it up now. And well, this came in on the 1st, so I had a feeling this happened a few years back, actually.
With how casual they all were about it, I figured as much.
I'll have to have a word with Remy. I think it's Remy. For the life of me, I can't always remember that girl's name. He kind of has a little chat with you as you walk to the Wolf's Head Inn.
I'll offer to carry the keg while he carries his tools.
Oh, well, it's only a little, and I can, well, okay, fine. He kind of, almost a little bit begrudgingly, like, hands over. He didn't appear to be struggling with it, but at the same time, he gets that idle hands, you should, offer to help. And you make it to the Wolf's Head Inn. He actually walks in front of you and, "Hey, Damatus, you need to stop ruining their doors. I can't keep fixing the bloody thing." There's just grunts coming from Damatus as he's drowned. He's already like downing 1 pint. And just,
Then I walk through the doorway and I just walk up to Damatus and I just put the keg on the floor next to him.
He slams the tankard down and a massive belch comes out that I can't do. Thank you. Thanks for that. Oh, hi, Agrin. Yeah, it's not me fault. I said I was gonna be here and
you missed kegs in, you wanna make amends. I get it.
Yeah, it was all. He kind of starts waving his finger and he tries to point at other people at like whose fault it was, and the female, she again is she's about 6 foot, just shy 6 foot, but again she's in full plate. Boss, you know whose fault it was. It was yours. You got the shits and kept us up for 2 days because we can go nowhere. We told you, do not eat that dirty rat meat. It's rat meat. It's a hunk of meat from peasants. And what did you do? She just sits up in her chair and like kicks another chair out and places her feet on top of the chair as she reaches over and takes a chunk of good meat and like starts, look, you can see it's a decent piece of meat. Not some dirty piece of rat that you ate. She takes a massive chunk as Damatus
I just start walking back up to the stairs, just laughing, just like hysterically, like God.
So
no, this is amusing.
For the next 3 to 4 hours, it's very loud. There's lots of drinking, swearing, but after that time, it does seem to quieten down as fatigue and drinking seems to kick in.
For the people that stayed upstairs because they were sleepy, or Billy Bob who just sleeps through everything, I just say, "Hey, Damatus is back. We'll probably be leaving tomorrow if all goes well."
Gabrielle's asleep again. On the floor.
Well, the Sierra wakes up with the sunrise, so she doesn't mind. She's downstairs just sitting on a corner, watching the bloody rain, waiting for a moment to speak to Diomedes after he's quieted down.
Gabrielle
He's
was...
not going to quiet down for a long time.
So they begin to quieten down around 10 o'clock.
Impatient.
So yeah, by around 10 o'clock, they calm down and they seem to be in a far more receptive mood. They're not just swearing at random people, and they've kind of stopped laughing at Damatus's deli belly.
I'll wait for a bit longer because his entire warband is still there and stuff like that. And what the Sierra really wants to talk to Diomedes about is, the tower, so...
Okay, how long have you been looking at Damatus? Have you been, staring at him for...
I'll be at a corner of the bar having a drink and just waiting. I'm not being 100%, stealthy. It's clear that I'm looking in the general direction, but I'm just, there
Okay.
enjoying a drink.
At about 10:30, Damatus stands up from his chair, lets off another massive belch, and I need to take a piss and get some air. He kind of steps outside. He appears to be drunk, but he still kind of is a bit with it.
Well, he got drunk quick.
He spent 3 hours of drinking.
2 hours drinking yesterday is enough to get drunk. Especially if you're downing in the kegs after kegs,
Yeah, if you're not paying attention to your alcohol consumption or intentionally trying to drink as much as you can, you probably only need about half an hour to get pissed.
It takes you 10 minutes to down a bottle of vodka, but in an hour, a bottle of vodka kicks in.
Less time than that. Oh no, far less than that.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
And it's going to punch you
In the
straight
gut.
in the gut.
Yep.
I've done it. It's not nice. Anyway, I'll wait for him to come back and then I'll approach him.
Sure, you would see his massive form kind of go off to the long drops that are lined at the front of the tavern, and then you would probably hear him just slump in a seat outside, and hear someone trying to strike a lighter of some sorts. It appears he's going to sit outside in the fresh air and have a smoke of some sorts.
I'll go outside then.
As you step outside, you can see that he is indeed sat on one of the chairs at the front of the Wolf's Head Inn. There are a couple of them there, and it appears as if he's trying to spark up his pipe. There's quite a strong breeze at the minute.
Can I just light my finger on fire and say, see the light?
Sure.
Do you need me to roll anything, or...?
Now I'm gonna let the rule of cool for lighting his pipe stand.
I'll just snap my finger, make my finger go if I say, "Do you need a light?"
How are you?
Forgive
It
me.
takes him a second, and then it's, oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, nice one. He kind of points a bit of parchment onto your finger, which then lights, and he like brings it over to his pipe and puts it close and lights the tobacco. That's now alight and burning in his pipe. Thanks for that.
Forgive me. I don't think we have properly met. My name is Luciara. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Is your hood off at the minute? Are you?
I'll lower my hood as a sign of respect, basically.
Hi, Hoddy. Now, how haven't I seen you before? Apologies, Damatus. Nice to meet you, Lysiara.
Yes. I'm approaching you because, well, my good friend Balthazar told me to approach you, and because you might be able to help me with a problem.
He kind of sits back and opens his legs wide, and well, yeah, I'm sure we could help each other with some problems.
Yeah, not that kind of deal.
Oh, well,
I'm
fair enough.
looking.
He goes back into a normal sit and kind of comes forwards a bit more. So, who do you need to kill?
Actually, I'm looking for information. I've heard your band is, well, capable enough and strong enough to venture into Mordheim. And I was told you could point me towards the ivory marble white tower.
A really insane look comes over his eyes, and there's a kind of a long stare, 1,000-yard stare that comes out of it. And you want to know about that place, huh? Well, wait, Marble Towers? Yeah, Marble Towers. Well, I don't know the names from, I'm afraid. I know there are two still. There were more, I think, but they're not standing anymore.
There are only two?
Yeah.
Would those be from the Tower of Light and Tower of Darkness?
Yeah.
Out of character, I think that's the name.
Yeah, I think that's the name as well. Or it was like the light is definitely right, or it was shadow rather than darkness. I'm not quite so sure.
I forgot.
Yeah, my notes for that part aren't with me at the minute. So yeah, light and dark. That was fine. Yeah, someone. Well, yeah, the finger wiggler. He mentioned the names once. He wanted some relic from one of them once, which we got. So I know the areas that. What do you not want to know about them? They're crazy places. If that makes sense.
I have received some information from my sister that told me that I should look for a special item of our people in one of these towers, and I was hoping you could tell me more about the place.
He looks at you with a kind of puzzling kind of look. Oh really? Well, so I haven't actually been into the Tower of Light or Tower of Darkness. I've been around the bases. I know roughly how to get there. That's if the damn city hasn't changed. Always fun when that happens. Yeah, keeps you on your toes. That place.
It should, especially with the stories I've heard. Have you seen, perchance, the City Watcher?
Oh, you mean the town crier? Yeah,
Yes.
That little prick. Yeah, he's shown up a few times, and then Calamity or fucking some nonsense. Yeah, he's probably the least of your worries. I mean, at least he gives you a bit of a warning. Well, that's if your men don't piss themselves, but yeah, there's worse things than him in there, Missy. So
You mean the Beastman?
yeah, let's call them the Beastmen. But then they're the real Beastmen, the orcs, the vampires. Fuck, I've seen a couple of them show up, fucking out of the ground in that place. Then you've got the other weirdos, the ones that like to cut themselves or cover themselves in filth, or yeah. Then you've got the abominations. Well, when one of them shows up, well, you know the party's going and you're going to lose a few men, but it'll be a good blood rain when it comes.
I see. I'd like to sit with him and keep talking until he gets bored for a little while. And just hear the stories about the place.
Sure, you could do that. He seems quite animated about talking about the craziness, and you'd get the strong impression that he is mental. Like you honest to God get the impression at times like how he kind of starts talking about a certain subject and he'll just focus on the smallest detail of a moment, and then it'll go straight back to blood, gore, and just mutants jumping out of here and this going, and then he'll kind of stop and almost freeze, and then it is clear to you that he's got more than one mental malady going on.
Yeah, I got that from how he behaved. Okay, I'll be right back. I have to fix something.
Sure. So I'm trying to see what else was on the agenda. So, Remy in the bar, a Raven Guard knight, or someone from the Raven Guards comes in and clearly doesn't want to speak to Damatus, so just kind of makes a beeline into the bar, and he gives a message to Remy, the Bloody Rain's second in command, which appears to be a breakdown of the mission that they've been given, and you all see her slide it underneath her armour. Lysiara doth returned, or have doth?
Sorry.
Have
I'm back.
thou returned?
I had to rush to the bathroom. Sorry.
No, that's quite all right. I had a little segue that went in there. Was there anything else you wanted to know from Damatus? Like, were there any details that you wanted?
I would have poked him slightly without mentioning Skaven about the, rat-like beastman. If he had
so
seen
as
them.
soon as you mention like the other beastmen, he tells you just that they're slippery, tricksy little fuckers, that they like to try and pick your men off, and they're not up for a good fight. If you try and charge at them, they scatter, and out of all the opponents he talks about, these seem to be the ones that he dislikes the most. Like, he talks about how, you constantly have to have shields up, and every little crack and nook you need to be aware of, because, a dart or a sharp piece of metal could come flying at you. He even talks about sometimes, like, a blade would come out from behind them, almost.
See. Good to know.
He's crazy enough and well known enough for being crazy that he would probably tell you that he was brought to Mordheim from a vision. He was shown a vision of a suit of armour that was, in his mind, absolutely perfect, and somewhere in Mordheim there's this suit of armor that is only meant for him, and calls out to him and drives him to go in and get the item. And he'll mention that that's what it's like for a lot of people. It appears that there's a lot of relics in Mordheim. He's constantly saying, this person sent me for a mission, and yeah, this fucking noble, he sent me in because he was too much of a pussy to do it himself, and well, this guy, he said he was all big but he couldn't handle it, so he sent us in. And they all seem to be related to visions of being drawn into Mordheim.
My character is a bit of a seer because she has had visions before, but can I roll magical sense just to check him?
Sure.
Wow.
Does magical sense work on items?
It should.
Okay.
Basically, actually, since I have slept and I have regained my fortune, I'm gonna try again because, come on.
Even
I have
successful test, you can tell if an item, area, or person is enchanted with magic.
Yeah.
Nope.
Seriously?
Oh my god, the odds!
Never.
I can't fortune
count the
again
odds.
because
Do you want to know
fortune
what?
twice.
Do you want to know what the really weird thing is? Hang on, wait. Your target was a 71, yeah, and you rolled.
But the odds!
I rolled 87 twice, so thank you, Zinch.
Wow, yeah, that sucks.
A 1 in 10,000 chance.
I would probably. No, I won't. Yeah, you just, the winds of magic are not with you at the minute, and your ability to sense magic is just foobarred by Zinch. Clearly by Zinch.
Yeah, clearly by Zinch. Motherfucker. Well then, now. Then never mind. Actually, nah, I'm not gonna ask this of him
I mean,
because
to be fair, you are sat with him for quite some time.
you shouldn't give me this if you don't have to. So
Well, no, he's in no, he speaks to his men all the time. So talking to you for a while, I would probably say if you want, you can roll again and say that, you're chatting to him for half an hour. He's got many a tale to tell. You want to know information about.
if I roll 87 again, I'm gonna say I'm gonna leave now, go take my shower and go to class. No, thank you. Sinch doesn't hate me that bad.
Oh no, this is
no,
Nuffle.
this is all part of the plan.
This is Nuffle.
So you would, at the end of your conversation, when you see his pipe is clearly run out and he taps it out, you try again, and you would see that he definitely has enchantments on his person, like his items on his body. Sure, let's even say that he doesn't go anywhere without his sword and make him more like Guts. You'd see that there are runes along the massive length of his blade, and it pulsates with magical power. But him himself, his skin, and no, he's mundane.
I see. I'll thank him for his time as soon as I see that he ran out of smoke, and I'll leave him.
Yeah, no worries. Next time I need a lighter, I'll give you a shout.
Well, so long as I'm around, I'd be glad to give you a light. I'll smile, bow, pull back my hood over my head, and I'll leave.
Cool. Was there anything else anyone wanted to ask or know from the Bloody Rain?
Not from the Bloody Rain, but would I be able to have, would I be able to stack the saddlebag bonus with the backpack bonus? No, not saddlebag, the sling bag, whatever it's called. It's probably a no, but I wanted to ask anyway, because encumbrance, I'm at my limit.
I would need to look it up in the rules. I think you can only have one or the other.
It doesn't say, which is why I asked, and it's like, and annoyingly, it's like one's the little pouch bag thing. But I had to ask anyway. It's fine. I just need to actually start micromanaging stuff now, because I don't need a shield and a tent and a backpack and a bow and like 3 different throwing weapons.
Yeah, I'd definitely say like there is certainly stuff there that you can put in the wagon. And keep in mind, guys, you are still using a shitty old wagon. You can upgrade.
How much was that new wagon?
Let me have a look. I think I put it on its character sheet. Well, the cart that I have available for you doesn't look like it's on the character sheet. So it's probably somewhere in the book, because that's where I got it from.
Cart in the book's 50 gold.
So yeah, I think if you guys buying it off of Hagelin would be 50 gold, because he's the one who makes them and sells them. I think last time you only paid so much because you had to pay the taxes and handling fees, but I don't think you paid a massive amount for it.
Well, if it's 50 gold, I'll pay that 50 gold so we can have a better cart. I was going to say another cart, but then I have to buy a horse.
Are you trading in?
I can afford it. Kinda. I can't afford it if we have to pay handling fees, sadly.
So actually, oh no, I put it on here, 50 gold plus do, but you don't pay that anymore. So the only issue is, so only Wilhelma and Azurath have pledged themselves to Haglin's oath to take back what was lost. Once you guys, go and make an oath that we swear we'll go and take your stuff back, reclaim your relics, then you get the handling fee knocked off. You get basically pay book prices for everything from him.
Oh well, never mind. I'll just start shoving stuff in that crappy old cart then.
But by all means, if you guys do want to talk about that at one point, we will go and time skip again to the 4th. On the 4th, everyone wakes up, has their breakfast, and a Raven Guard envoy comes along. He basically calls you guys, plus Damatus and Eric, upstairs into the room that you used before to have a little meeting. Branda is quite clearly not there, as the Raven Guard envoy opens up the map that he was carrying, and he shows you which routes you'll be taking. Now, Damatus and the Bloody Rain will be going a completely different route to you guys, whereas your route and the route for the Warband of the Wolf will travel along the same route. It forks off. It's about 2 days into the journey. They actually forks off and you go your separate ways. Eric's group will set off first. They'll be setting off today. And your group will set off tomorrow on the 5th. And Damatus, he'll be setting off on the 5th as well, because his group have only just got back.
Alright. Crack my neck a bit. Aye. Alright.
And your microphone.
Actually, I do need to ask one thing.
That was in character, me cracking my neck.
No, out of character, I'm going to ask. Did Billy Bob ever tell us about the Game Hunter?
You all know about the Game
think
Hunter.
he did. No.
We were there, I think, at the time where it was like mentioned, but none of us
Because-
really paid
so-
any attention.
Branda told all of you because the big Game Hunter went to Branda and asked if he knew anyone who wanted some coin and was good at killing stuff. So he was like, okay, I know some people who could do that.
Before we go talk to him.
We're
this
on a
Aaron
job.
I mean, we are on a job right now.
we just have
Hey,
to ask
let's
him what
get-
he wants.
We'll do that when we get back.
Assuming it's not
Aye.
one of those timed NPCs.
Aye. Even if it is, this is a timed mission that pays way more than he possibly could. Let's get out of our way.
We'll just use console and change the time scale. It's fine.
Yes.
It'll like
Yes.
break only 50 other quests.
How
That
dare
is
you? He is a
exactly
person
right.
and he has feelings.
Yes. Okay. Let's
This
get
guy
going.
This Sarah would legitimately want to know what he was offering, but since nobody wants to go, then fine.
We'll go ask him after we're back.
It could take weeks before we get back.
So?
In fact, it takes, I believe it was 10 days there and 10 days back.
See, 20 days.
Also,
What if he,
we've
what if
already-
he wants something which is along the way?
Fine, go ask him.
But you can't have anyone else go. We can't be bothered.
We're preparing the cart for the go.
This would have been yesterday before the time skip, but Luciara would like to go talk to the game hunter and ask him what it is he need. Where would this game hunter even be actually?
Game hunting.
Okay, I may have to change my notes to make sure that this is marked down. So on the 4th, Miss Lyciara, you get directions from the Raven Guard to the big game hunter. So if you'd like to scroll down south on your map,
Yep.
you will see that there is a new place with lots of things in
Ooh.
it.
Nice.
Oh, hang on. I've just realised I brought the map open, but I didn't open it for the stream. There we go. So if you want to place yourself at the front door, where I'm pinging now. Cool. So as you make your way through the streets of Siegfriedhoft, you very quickly... This is still in the main district, but it's on the very edge of the rich area, and you come up to quite a grand building. The windows are fairly dark. You can see that the curtains are drawn in most of them, but there are some that are open. All the windows appear to be clean, and all the metalwork polished. The door in front of you is a large oak door with a brass knocker.
Okay. I'll knock at the door.
Who dares come to my place, and without an invitation? I have no visitors coming here today. You hear this voice kind of boom from within inside, unnaturally so.
Magic sense, please.
Sure.
Ooh, thank you.
There is clearly magic at work here. You're not quite sure what the spell or enchantment is that's going on, but something is definitely amplifying the voice or changing it in some way.
Man, I thought magic and fantasy was like this super dangerous thing, but apparently everyone has fucking enchanted doorbells.
Hey, after it's enchanted and you didn't fuck up, the spell is still there, so you know.
So, you may not know this, but there are many a knife set that has been marked with dwarven runes, so that the kitchen knife, the carving knife, the pride, never bluntens and never needs sharpening, You know, it's not 40k. It's not all grimdark.
Fair
Just
enough.
mostly.
There's a lot of it though.
I'll respond to the voice and say, "My name is Luciara, and technically I've come here because, well, I heard you were looking for people that could help you in a hunt. The Raven God, the captain of the Raven God, brother, told me so."
I see. So, you are the ones who Brander spoke of and has pointed in my direction. Well then, please enter. I was not given a name for your warband, but I hope you live up to Brander's high praise. The door opens, yet there's no one there.
I'll walk through.
Please walk through my house, walk its halls and see its greatness. You'll see that I am a true and only explorer and big game hunter. I have taken many a trophy in my day, and I have grown stronger for it.
Just one question out of character.
There is a door straight in front of you. It just, for some reason,
I know.
it looks like a
Yeah.
wall, I know.
And there's also, I'm walking through a rack here, so...
Yeah, I don't know why there isn't actually a front door to this place, but... As you walk through, you see many a beast, many a creature that you yourself know from the woods. These are not easy game. Anyone who has taken down these kind of, monsters in many cases, they're not blowing hot air. Give me a perception roll, please. You can have... Sorry, I'll need 2. You can have, for the first one, a plus 20. For the second one is flat.
The first one is visual or auditory?
Visual.
So plus 13 total.
You see upon the beasts and creatures that all of them, although they're mounted and they've clearly been professionally stuffed, there's a clear divot, a hole in the centre of their foreheads, where you can just make out where the, can't remember the name, person has tried to repair the damage to the hide.
Okay.
And the second one is a listening test. You can also give me a magic sensing test afterwards.
Okay, magic sense.
So you don't hear where the booming voice is coming from. As you've gone next to each creature, he's given a story about how he's taken down this beast, how, the hunt and all this hunter nonsense. And you kind of drown it out. You think, I can't find out where he is with this. So you reach into the winds of magic and you try and sense for where this person is. And you note that there's a hidden door over here. It's clearly a magical illusion to make it look as if it's a wall.
I'll walk towards it.
And as you'll see in the front there, my greatest, my ultimate prey, the Waven. It was the No, you can walk past. He's no,
Okay.
no, don't. That's a wall. That's a wall. Get away from there. Don't you? As you step through the illusion, you are greeted by a halfling.
Of course,
Of
it's a fucking
course.
halfling. Also, I think it's wyvern or wyvern. I don't know.
Yeah,
There's like
I
50
think it's
different
wyvern.
pronunciations of that.
I actually
It could be
expected
regional though, so technically it could be correct.
No, you said a hobbit. I actually expected it to be a tiny gnome.
Gnomes
With a
don't exist,
monocle.
unfortunately. The smallest
Yeah.
I could go for was a halfling. What
Yeah.
the? I told you not to come back here. Now, what the? This halfling is about. He's shy of 5 foot. He's he's probably about 4'10", maybe 4'9". He's exactly of how you'd imagine a halfling to look. Very short, very podgy. You do see muscle there. It's not all podge.
I'll remove my hood. Show him his and say, "Pleasure to meet you. My name and your wall doesn't fool me, unfortunately."
Ah, Fidget. You're one of them, And he wiggles his fingers.
Yes, I get that a lot.
Damn it. Why'd y'all have... Is it just you? Where are the others? He kind of looks around you. As you turn around, you can actually see that you can see through it. It's like a one-way glass.
Yep.
I thought it was a war band.
Yeah, we're... the Men of the Nameless is currently preparing themselves for a journey.
Oh. So it's just you? Good. But don't tell anyone. I don't want to lose my... no one in this town would respect a halfling big game hunter. I mean, I hardly respect myself.
Osmo said, "Don't worry, your secret is safe with me."
He kind of hops up on his chair. So he's probably looking at your chest, to be honest. And he bows and... Carl Bogman, big game hunter extraordinaire. And takes out a pipe and lights it up. Now, don't let the appearance fool you. I am a general big game hunter, and I actually did kill all those creatures out there.
You have a rather impressive collection. The wyvern is truly an amazing creature.
Admittedly, I killed that one by accident. That that wasn't exactly on purpose, but... oh well. It's all in the selling of the story, you see.
Yeah, I see. Well, I unfortunately don't have a lot of time, Carl, but I've came here because I heard you needed help with your next big hunt.
Well,
The rest of
kind
the
of.
Orbit are all... I assure you they are all interested in this hunt, but we also have to help the Raven God.
Well, it's not so much a hunt. He like raises a finger. You see, I've got a lot of requests from a lot of rich nobles who all want trophies, and I'm only one halfling, so I can't get them all. So I was gonna, I pay you to go and hunt some creatures. You tell write up a good story for me. And he starts scribbling in midair, and then I sell it to them, and it's a good gesture. But on the other hand, I also want someone to go and explore a rumor that I heard. I mean, so the hunting is what was to draw you in, but this rumor, well, I can't go there anymore. I'm afraid of the creatures that inhabit that area, but I've got it on good conscience that this is legitimate. So I'm trying to sell it to some people I think can handle, and he makes a like holds his fingers out and like tries to mimic like lots of legs.
Was that supposed to
It's
be
the fucking
like
spiders.
cat noise or?
No, that was him going meh! And with his fingers trying to... I don't have a
Oh.
webcam on, so you can't see the...
I'll cock my head to the side and say, "I see."
Look, I don't like spiders, okay? They're just gross. They're creepy little fucking things. But I found out from a good source that there's treasure in a cave with spiders in. And I have the key to the chests. But I hate spiders. So, I got this for free. I want some money. And I don't want to sell it to someone who's just going to get themselves eaten by spiders. That's pointless. If you give me a good story, and maybe some, some again, he makes a noise with the legs, and I don't want to see him, but I could sell some of the, and then he makes another gesture with his... He basically doesn't want to say spider legs. They seem to creep him out how they move, and...
Yeah. Actually, I have seen some rather large spiders in a cave to the south. We could go there and, well, find this treasure for you. We could also hunt anything you want. Just tell me exactly what you need.
Okay. Well, he opens up a drawer and starts rifling around and takes out a massive tome and like starts flicking through. And as you like try and look, you'll see that there's different like Beastman, Ungor, this noble, Beastman. He seems to keep a ledger of all the different things that he has caught, sold on, how much for, and has a little reference for it. And he gets to like halfway through the tome, quickly gets out a pen and paper and begins writing down the names. Well, these are the creatures that I'm after. If you find... folds the paper up, puts a little seal, wax seal on it, and then hands it to you. If you find any of them, then by all means, you take their heads and try and preserve them. They can't go moldy. That's no good. If you preserve them, then come to me with. I need a story though. I can't be expected to make up all the hunting stories, but by all means, I'll pay you the gold.
Very well.
So you can put down in your character sheet that you have a list of monsters.
Yep.
And at one point, I'll make one.
Gotcha.
You would note that it doesn't matter if you open the letter or not. He just put the wax seal on there to make it look official.
Yeah.
As you look on there, you will note that there are at least 2 spiders on there. Different species, you'd note. And he has actually written down the species of spider.
Yep. Very well. Do you have any tricks on how to preserve these beasts?
Well, salt. Speak to the tanner.
It is.
I've heard you can piss on them, but I've never really tried that myself. But if you speak to the guy who stuffs all my stuff, it was on my fucking tongue. I've been thinking about this word for quite some time now. Taxidermist.
No, taxidermist.
Taxidermist. That's the one. If you speak to the taxidermist, he might have some ideas. But as finger wigglers, I thought y'all could. No. He kind of looks at you. No. Oh.
That's not how as mages work. I'm technically not a death mage, so I'm not exactly too keen on keeping dead things, preserved.
Okay. He kind of like starts shadow boxing on his chair and whips out a sling and begins like slinging it around. There's nothing in it. He's just like, I'm a more of a fighter myself. Get in there, and from out of nowhere he draws this very thin, very sleek looking. It's not a dagger, but it's about the same size, and he just starts jabbing in the air. I get him where it hurts and take him down. I don't. Each to his own.
I'll just snap my fingers and let a small flame fly out of my hand and say, I tend to just burn my enemies to the ground.
As you do that, he kind of and falls back into his seat and kind of handy.
It is.
I get it.
Do you smoke?
Yeah.
Not usually.
Well, it's last on you then. And he kind of gets back down and taps out his pipe and begins taking some shavings that he has on the side and filling it back up. Well, by all means, come on by. If you have your friends with you, give a real hard knock. Really, really smash the door, and then I'll know. And then I can scarify them and make them think I'm big and awesome.
gonna do? This I have to go.
No worries.
So sorry to cut it in the middle of it. So
By all
Problem.
means, you leave and go back to the tavern, not telling your
Actually-
comrades what transpired just yet.
I'm beginning to understand why you wanted us to meet him.
Yeah.
I
I
kinda
mentioned
like
a few
him.
times. Oh, the big game hunter. The big game hunter. Well,
He sounds like
He gave us another quest, and
Pretty
my
nice
character's
fellow.
not a double quester.
I'm gonna
I'm
be
not the
honest,
Dragonborn.
you,
I'm gonna be honest, I like
you're
him.
Monoquestus.
I like this guy. Also, does he give me the key for the treasure? And
No.
is the treasure really in the Batshit cave?
no, he doesn't give you the key. He wants gold for that. He wants 25 gold for the key.
I'll
Well,
do
keys.
that later then.
He's got multiple keys. He's got 2.
Gotcha. I'll do that afterwards then, after we return, because I don't have gold.
No worries.
Anyway, I have to go now, guys, so see ya.
Take care, man.
See ya.
See ya.
Take care.
Take care.
See ya.
It's just like Shadowrun. The mages are always broke.
So
In all fairness-
as we go back to the tavern, was there anything else you guys wanted to buy or do? Basically, was there any more RP to be had? Otherwise, we will shoot forwards to dates again, to the 5th. So on the 4th, you watched the warband of the Wolf move out. As Eric said, one of their number is left at the tavern. You would all note that he again has at least 5 labourers. He had 2 so another 3 have joined his retinue from yesterday. The ones who were wounded, you don't see them. They appear to have given up in adventuring, perhaps. You see them set off. They actually set off at around... It's late, actually. It is quite late by the time they set off. And on the 5th, you and the warband of the Bloody Rain both set off. I would imagine you set off bright and early.
All the better to spot an ambushing.
Plenty of hours of daylight to burn as you walk. Can you all give me a perception test as you begin your first day's travel? You don't need to worry about your rations or your food. That is all being provided by the Raven Guard.
I'll see what everyone else rolls
Is
before I
this
decide if I
flat
fortune.
then?
Sorry?
Is this flat?
Yes.
I like how I rolled Billy Rob's target.
So on the first day, it's a day on the road. You know, there's nothing really.
Yeah, I should
Everything
actually
seems
roll
to be
too.
everything seems to be perfectly normal.
Hold on, I forgot the roll.
It won't change things we've already seen.
Yeah. Perfect target hit! Yes!
And unfortunately, your elf eyes spend all day looking round, but there's nothing. You spend your first day on the road with no encounters. It's a perfectly fine day.
Before one of us rolls 100 and accidentally spawns giant spiders.
Do.
And unfortunately, I can tell you that the next day is raining. And it's hard going, but would you like to give me perception tests for the 7th?
Yeah.
And again,
We've.
it's
I rolled 5 degrees. Oh, you rolled 5 degrees over.
It's a wet and muggy day. Azura, you get a funny feeling, but it soon leaves you. It's not. It's more of a foreboding sense that you feel, but all day you don't see anything. On the 8th day, can you all give me perception tests? You would all know that by this day, that tomorrow, you come up to the fork in the road. For some reason today, on the 8th, you all feel slightly more on edge, and in the evening, Gabrielle, this feeling doesn't leave you. It stays with you, but it doesn't seem to grow. It's not like when you're in danger and all your senses are heightened. You just get a real foreboding feeling. And as we come to the 9th day, and you see the fork in the road, can everyone give me another perception test?
We should like sing a traveling song.
I'm sure there are many a traveller. Oh, I didn't even put the travelling music on. I apologise.
I just have a highly tactical soundtrack on, so it doesn't really fit, but
Azura.
it still fits.
I have
Wilhelma.
Do.
As you come to the fork in the road, you see the cart tracks from the other group moving up towards their chosen route. Azura, if you too go to this point and look, ting, 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 ting.
Grenades!
You hear fighting ahead of you. You have the option to go up the path that the warband of the wolf was on, to see what is going on up there, or you can go along your chosen path, the path that the Raven Guard laid out for you. But unfortunately, this is where we leave it for this week's episode.
Hey, bloody hell.
So, next week, we will find out which route the team will go down, who or what they will save, and we'll see if there are any consequences for making their choices. So I hope you've all enjoyed your time here in the Dumbass class, as we have been playing Warhammer Fantasy. Yeah, I look forward to seeing you all next time. So take care, everyone. And bye-bye for now.
We actually have an audience this time. I convinced people to watch.
And I thank you very
Or
much
did
for
you?
doing so.
I
So
did.
thanks, everyone. Bye-bye for now.